What is up, Sheepdog Nation? Welcome to another podcast episode with your host, me, Autumn Schmidt. Today's episode is sponsored by the Sheepdog family. This is going to be something that you're going to want to keep your eyes and ears opened for. The doors are closed right now. It's an exclusive Leo-only group. However, the doors are going to be reopening in the next week or two, and it's going to be something you really want to get into. And I'm going to tell you more about it, but keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Okay, so let's get into our podcast episode for today. So if you are one of my sheepdogs who have been extremely loyal followers, I want to thank you. If you're brand new to me, I want to say thank you too. Thank you all for having some patience. This last month and a half has kicked my ass. So if you don't know, I just recently went to Nashville, and then I graduated with my master's in criminal justice. I accepted a adjunct position as a professor teaching criminal justice. Very exciting. Started that training. I went to Montauk, New York. I turned 29. Holy shit. And I've been working at part-time at a police department. That's been picking up. And my husband and I just got our own little Maligator. So we got a Belgian Malinois to raise up as a working prospect. And so if you are brand new to like canine life, let me tell you, it's intense. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just intense. We flew down to Florida and we're there for less than 24 hours. So my month and a half has been a whirlwind. Here's the positive. The positive is that I've got a lot to share with you, a lot to learn, a lot to reflect on. I know that my loyal followers have been dying for new podcast episodes. I just want to say thank you guys again. You guys make this 100% worth it. You are what continues to, inspire me to give more, talk more, do more. So thank you. What I want to tell you, I want to kind of give you a little heads up of like what's to come. I've decided I'm going to be releasing 3 episodes a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is going to be the schedule, but they're going to be shorter. We're going to do 15, 20-minute increments just because I think that they're more bite-sizable. I can give you more in a week, and I know a lot of you are like, yes, new content. And I just, like I said, I just think it might be easier. A lot of you listen to this on patrol. I'd love for you to be able to listen to the entire episode and not have to come back and start over and get back to your place and all that, because that can be a pain in the ass. So that's what you have to look forward to as far as the podcast frequency and episodes. What I want to tell you is I want to talk to you a little bit about the shift that you will be seeing in me. So I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not for everybody. This podcast is explicit. I swear. I'm going to tell you how I see it. Maybe it's not how you see it, but this is how I see it. And we can disagree. We can agree to disagree. That's cool with me. But I'm going to tell you also that I'm kind of shifting gears a little bit. So I'm going to back up and just tell you a little bit about me, a little bit about my story. So if you don't know, so I was injured. I've been a police officer since I've been 20 years old. I turned 21 in a cruiser. It's like the coolest thing ever, I thought. And I, unfortunately, I sustained a back injury that took me out of full-time police work at the age of 27. It was pretty devastating to me. It came out of absolute nowhere. I think if you go back to some prior episodes, I've talked to you pretty in depth about that. And so I've had to really learn how to be innovative with my life, my career. And I have had a lot of people who have been injured, whether it's been PTSD, whether you've been physically injured, mentally injured, emotionally injured. I've had a lot of cops reach out to me and say, hey, me too. I'm going through this. And I just want to say that is the majority of us have been mentally or emotionally or physically or all three injured. And it takes a very special kind of person to be tenacious and continue and do big things and not let that get you down. What I want to say is that I am hoping that moving forward, I'm going to be inspiring and teaching, actually leading you all to be innovative and do the things that I've done and learn from me, and don't do the things that I did that I think you shouldn't do. I want you to learn from me in that way. I have done a lot of personal reflection, personal development. I have become an entrepreneur. I have, continued and finished my master's degree. I have starting businesses up everywhere. I continue to work part-time for a police agency, and I'm doing all the things that I can do. Here's what I want to tell you about that. Listen, it's kind of laughable. Like, what I do for my police agency is like, if I was a full-time fucking badass on the road like I was, and I looked at somebody back before I got injured, and I found out that they were just kind of doing more of like the community policing aspect. They were, doing setting up neighborhood watches, doing, conducting, patrol, but I'm not doing patrol like I used to do a little bit of patrol, a lot of community policing, a lot of, connecting the citizens with the police department, working with the citizens as a big deterrence in a very small town. If I were to hear about that when I was working full-time patrol, I'd probably laugh. Here's the thing. I just want to bring this to your attention. Don't laugh at that, because that is not only helping me to maintain my, I get to still be a cop, maintain my identification, my credentials, be able to go up to the academy. I'm a certified instructor. I'm a certified defensive tactics instructor. I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's new. We'll talk about that in future episodes. And I'm a second-degree black belt. So, I have a lot to give, a lot of experience, a lot to offer. And if I would have stayed in my head and fear and worry about what everybody thought about me, I wouldn't be here doing these things. The reason I'm telling you that is there's a lot of injured officers that you're either a SWAT or you're not in your mind. You're like, I'm either in or I'm out. But there's so much in between that you can do. And it's that tenacity, it's that confidence, that kind of courage is what is going to see you through, and it's what's going to open more doors for you, and it's also what's going to make it so you're not so fucking miserable. Look, I have to be really honest. Was I super happy at my police agency? Fuck no. Was that a secret? Nope, was not a secret. It's a lot of shit. It was so fucking corrupt that currently they just fired the chief and the deputy chief. Or they didn't fire this is a big thing. Anyways, let me just put it to you this way. The chief and the deputy chief are resigning because a detective I used to work with essentially pulled the curtains back, and for everybody, the city government, and for everybody to see, for the public to see, the turnover rate there has been, they've lost, in the last 8 years, they've lost over 50 police officers. But guess what? 50 police officers is what makes up that entire department. So it's a ton of turnover. The agency itself really was lacking a lot of things, leadership especially. And so was I happy there? No. But did I expect to get out of police work altogether? Not that soon, I won't lie. And so that was a really big slap in my face. So what did I do? I did something that I really want all of you to start doing. This is kind of where we're going to be going, where we're going to be shifting, because I've been asking myself for the last month and a half, been listening to a lot of podcasts, been following a lot of different people on Instagram, social media, really kind of diving deep into what I want to do. Now, I want to tell you, first and foremost, I'm not shitting on anybody else. I think everybody's podcasts, I've listened to a lot of them. They've been great. They all have a place. Everybody's social media content, everybody's stuff has a place. Even the shit that I don't like. You guys know I don't really like the whole girly girl cop thing. I don't like that. I think that humanizing the badge, the way that it's being portrayed sometimes, I don't love that. And I just have to say, this is not shitting on Mike the cop. I like him. He's cool. It's not about, I know this is like kind of his movement. It's not that. I think as some people have taken it to this other level that I'm just like, geez, do you really do police work? I'm not quite sure. But I want to tell you, it all has a place. It has a place. I will tell you, probably 2 months ago, I wouldn't have told you that. I'd have been like, yeah, no, it's fucking bullshit. But I've realized kind of taking a step back, it all has a place. It, it is connecting some people, makes them feel closer, whatever. This is not my style. Okay. It's not my style. But I've really kind of taken a step back and I'm like, all right, like what can I add for value? I started this podcast as a big bitching session, essentially. I'll be honest. So if you go back and you listen to the beginning of my podcast, I have a lot of opinions. I have a lot of opinions throughout this entire podcast, and I'm not sorry for any one of them. I had somebody reach out to me recently and say, can we talk about your opinions on your podcast? Fuck no, we cannot talk. You can go listen to my podcast. You can either consume it and understand how I feel about things, or you can just not listen. And that's the answer. That's how I feel about that. Nobody's forcing you to listen to my opinion. Nobody's forcing you to listen to this fucking podcast, right? I would never do that to somebody else on their podcast as well. I think that's important for me to highlight. What I have come to the conclusion of is how I'm going to lead, how I'm going to put myself out there, and what I can add for value to Sheepdog Nation. I feel like I would be doing you a massive disservice if I was like, okay, guys, like listen to me for workout tips. No, because your girl loves to eat. I run, I train BJJ, I work out, I do HIIT workouts. I'm a really big fan of the 21 Day Fix Extreme workouts. I do CrossFit, whatever, but I'm not passionate about that. I do it. I have to do it. You should do it too. Doesn't mean I fucking love it. I just do it, right? Food prep, not my thing. Lifting a bunch of weights, not my thing. I mean, I do it again, but it's not my thing. Showing you every time I'm working and every time I'm 10-8, not my thing either. It never has been. I show you guys a lot of my life. I don't know. That's not my thing. So I kept going on and on and on about like, okay, so like there's a lot of people out there showing you guys that who are great, who are actually really good at what they do and, inspiring and can help you in those ways, So I'm like, geez, like where do I fit in? Where do I fit in? If I'm really honest with you, Sheepdog Nation, that has been the question since I've started, since I've even quit, since I, quit, what I quit doing was I was a business coach online, and I still do it. But since I got done with that, and I'll tell you more about that. But since I quit doing that, I was like, geez, like, where do I fit in? Where do I fit in? I've had a whole lot of self-reflection time in this last year and a half, and since I started the podcast. And so I think I finally found the answer. I'm feeling really good about it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and I'll tell you about the background. So where I fit in is I fit in with teaching you about you in depths that you've never even experienced. I am very spiritual. I won't lie. I'm not going to push that on you. If you're religious, great. Don't push it on me either. We both essentially believe in the same thing. I just go about it a different way. And here's the thing though, I've got to know myself on a really deep level. I've got to know myself on the inside. Take your perverted minds out of the picture. I've really gone and connected with my intuition. Now here's the deal. Why is this important? Well, because cops, you guys are the most intuitive people on the planet. You just don't fine tune it. You don't know anything about it. And nobody fucking teaches you it. But if you go back and listen to yourself, like listen to the instructors in the academy, if you go back and listen to the other cops that you talk to, this is what you guys are saying. This is what we all say constantly. Oh, it just didn't feel right. Ooh, I just didn't have a good feeling. That car. Oh, I don't know. I don't know why. I just didn't have a good feeling. That call, I did not have a good feeling about that call, and then it went fucking to shit, right? What you're saying is you're talking about your gut feelings. And what I want to tell you is that's absolutely right, accurate, and it's perfect. I'm into fine-tuning that. That is who I am. The truth, I'll tell you the truth. It's very vulnerable. I can see angels, and I've been talking to angels since I've been a baby. So I had an imaginary friend growing up. Her name was Maggie. Fully fucking convinced that she was real. And if it wasn't for my mom being the badass that she is and being really open to it, should have shut that down. And my intuition wouldn't be what it is today. So what ended up happening, fast forward to I quit being a business coach because that was what got me out of my depression and through being told that I'll never do police work, full time again. is that I went and started an online business. But through that journey of doing business coaching, I realized what I was really doing, and I was really helping a lot of people connect to their intuition, connect to their spirituality. And why? Well, because everyone, if you're not connected to you and who you are, you're all fucked right up. That's just the truth. It's so true. It's not even funny. And I can go on and on and on about that, and I will in other episodes. But essentially, so then I started doing more spirituality. I was very successful in a spiritually led business, helping primarily women connect to their intuition. Problem being is I felt really empty, super empty. I'm like, this sucks. Like, I'm so not connected to who I really am. And that was Sheepdog Nation. I was not connecting to that part of me. Fast forward to today, I've decided, and that's what we're going to be doing. You're going to be hanging out with me. You know me. I'm not going all fucking spiritual woo-woo on you. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but you know me. I'm going to tell you the way it is. I'm going to talk to you plain English, just like you and I are chilling, pulling up car to car. That's what, this is the basis of me. It's who I am. It's what this podcast is based on. I just want you to know that there's hope for you. If you're fucked up mentally, emotionally, physically, I just want you to know that, from the job, I just want you to know that I'm just like you. I hear you. I'm not going to put up with excuses. I'm not going to listen to you go negative all the time and give me every excuse in the book. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to teach you how to move through. I'm going to teach you how to connect to yourself. I'm going to connect you. I'm going to teach you how to connect to yourself. I'm going to teach you how to go inside of you, find your passions again, find your inner strength. I'm going to teach you how to go into different directions that, you didn't even realize, teach you how to have less tunnel vision. Essentially, what I'm thinking is it's intuitive tactics for yourself. Become tactically intuitive with me. That's what the Sheepdog family itself is. So I'm running a 6-month program. It's a membership group. It's Leos only. Leos in any capacity, though. It's just not just boots on the ground cops. I need to re-emphasize that. If you are a law enforcement officer in any capacity, you carry a firearm, you are a law enforcement officer, then you are allowed in here. This is going to be life-changing. I'm opening this up. We'll be starting in July. It will be taking us through December. It is going to change your life. I promise you, it will change your life. You do the work, it changes your life. The reason why is because I'm so tired of the academy, of the job itself, not teaching us how to save ourselves from ourselves. They're teaching us how to be tactical badasses on the road. I'm going to teach you how to be tactically, spiritually connected. How about that? To yourself and why, and I'll teach you all about why that's important. For me, you guys, that saved my life. It's allowed me to be really tenacious and go with the flow and have all these doors open for me and allow the abundance. I've got tons. I don't have I'm not I won't lie to you. I'm not like a millionaire yet, sitting in this big ass mansion, but I have a lot of things going for me, a lot of doors that open for me, a lot of abundance in a lot of different ways. And I just have this idea that you could probably use that, right? So that's what you have to look forward to. That's what we have going on. The message that I want to leave you with today, right, is there's a few things. I want you to take a chapter out of my book, and I really want you to take a step back, and I want you to evaluate where you're being a victim in your life. Where are you coming up with tons of excuses in your life and for who you are and what's going on? I want you to take a look at that. I want you to see how, if tomorrow you got told you could never work full-time patrol again, how would you act? What would happen? Do you have a backup plan? Do you have a plan B and a plan C? Do you have a lot of doors open? Are you opening more doors, or are you completely so focused on this job that if that were to happen to you, you'd be absolutely devastated like the majority of people? I want you to ask yourself that. This isn't instilling fear. This is just reality, because you never fucking know, right? We just never know what's going to happen. the next thing is the next thing I want you to be taking from this episode is I want you to be open. Remember a little bit ago, I talked a little bit about, how when I was on patrol, if I would have told myself, I would have told anybody that I was, working part-time in the capacity that I was for this really small agency and doing the community policing thing. Like if I, I think that I would have laughed at somebody who was doing that. I'll definitely still laugh at somebody doing that who's just a part-time cop, has never gone through any kind of, training. It doesn't mean prior military is one thing, but if you're just somebody, you worked at Walmart and then all of a sudden now you work part-time, you work, a couple times a year and you think that you're a cop. I disagree with that. That's different topic for a different day. But I will say, I would have laughed at myself back then. And this is what I want to underline here is you've all got to start opening your minds to things, because you just don't ever know. You don't ever know what's going to happen. And me doing what I'm doing is, one, it's changing the community. Two, it gives me, like I've told you 1,000 times, it gives me my credentials. I get to still be a cop. I still get to go out and play around. And three, it's actually making a difference. And so it's like, we gotta really watch our minds and like the stigmas and what we're open to and what we're not open to as Sheepdog Nation. And I think that's really key. So opening your mind, which you're probably like, Autumn, I don't know how to open my mind. I'm very skewed. I've got tunnel vision. It either black and white. I'm very black and white. I'm fucking judgmental. I hate a lot of people, hate a lot of things. I want to tell you that you're not alone. You're just like a lot of members in Sheepdog Nation, but that's why you need me. That's why you're going to want to keep your eyes open for the Sheepdog family, that program. When I open the doors, it's going to be life-changing. It really, really is. And I'll talk to you guys all more about that within the next few weeks. Keep an eye on my Instagram at The Lady Sheepdog so that you can be the first to know about it. You can get in when the doors close. They're going to be closing, and I won't be able to reopen it until December. It is a program, so once, it's not going to be like open enrollment. We're going to begin in July. We're going to end in December, and then you can join us in December. So I hope that you are as excited as I am. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to help you change your life. It's changed my life. This road to personal development and, getting to know myself and tapping into my intuition. It's changed my life. It's allowed me to really just stay innovative and on top of things and positive. It's really allowed me to stay positive. And I'm going to tell you right now, being married to a police officer has really helped save my marriage, my relationship more than once. Because it is very difficult to be married to a cop. It is very difficult for two cops to be married to each other. Some people are like, oh, it's easy. You guys get it. No, we're both stubborn as fuck. We both have a lot going on, and it's very easy for us to go two separate ways. But we work on it. And because I've worked on myself, it's really changed a lot of the dynamic in our relationship. And Adam he's continuing to open up and do the things that I'm teaching you guys. And it's really changing his life too. Hell, he just got Trooper of the Year with the Maine State Police. Fucking awesome, right? Well, you really got to be something special, and you got to be doing big things to get that. And we've done it together. So it's exciting. Anyway, Sheepdog Nation, today, obviously I ran over, 15, 20 minutes, but I missed you guys, had a lot to say. Be paying attention to our next episodes. Come on to Instagram, come say hey to me. Let me know what's going on. If you liked this episode, if you're excited to see where we're going, and I will see you next time.
And that was another episode of Sheepdog Nation. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go to iTunes and let us know by giving us a rating. If you have questions that you want answered by Autumn in the podcast, submit it by going to the link in the show notes. As always, stay safe and watch your six.